The Investigative Directorate has hinted it will investigate officers' role in the cover-up of the theft of cash from President Cyril Ramaphosa's Limpopo farm. This as Ramaphosa again bats away parliamentary questions from opposition parties. The African Transformation Movement asked IPID to look into the allegations by former spy boss Arthur Fraser of secret police work. ENCA's Lindsay Dentlinger has been tracking this story for us, and she joins us now. Lindsay, so the ATM writing to the IPID to investigate the farm theft matter. What response does it say it's received so far, if any?
So it says that IPID will investigate this matter, but that it requires the ATM to provide it with further information so that it can register a proper case. And it's asked ATM leader Vuyo Zungula to present himself somewhere between the 11th and the 22nd of July to depose an affidavit. And so the response we've seen that the IPID has given the ATM certainly seems that it is a definite that they will investigate insofar as it pertains to the conduct of police in this alleged cover-up of this crime, that they may have travelled across to Namibia to have discussions there without knowledge of their bosses and just generally not registering this case at all. So that is what we know that the IPID has told the ATM. However, only on our own questioning of IPID as to what exactly they will be investigating, they're not as equivocal that they will definitely be investigating, rather indicating that it is requiring more information from the ATM, and that it also has to look at the prescripts under which it can conduct such an investigation, because all of the allegations made in this complaint by Arthur Fraser certainly does not fall within IPID's directorate to investigate. So less certain upon a media inquiry as to whether they will definitely be investigating, but certainly on the face of it, the response received by the ATM indicates that they definitely will investigate the conduct of police as far as it pertains to this matter.
Lindsay, South Africans obviously want answers of the president. So much so also political parties. What other avenues are they pursuing to try and hold the president accountable?
So we saw last month when the president was responding to the budget vote reply that he ignored questions from the opposition, who had peppered him with questions on the previous day about what had unfolded at his farm. And then later on the sidelines of Parliament, the president also would not answer the media's questions about this matter, saying that he was leaving it up to law enforcement agencies to track, and that he had been advised not to answer the questions. And then the DA and the EFF sent off a barrage of written questions to the president, which is quite common in Parliament. Dozens of questions get sent to the executive every year for written reply and response. The president has met the deadline to respond to those questions, but he's not really answering any of them. Only he provided essentially 3 responses to around 20 questions, a standard response saying that he would cooperate with investigators and if he was asked any questions, that he wasn't going to answer these questions in a piecemeal manner. And so that is essentially the response that he has been giving parliamentarians. But they are not resting there. The Speaker has several requests from several parties on her desk to consider whether an ad hoc committee should be established so that Parliament can conduct its own investigations. And again, the ATM has gone as far as to request the Speaker to consider an impeachment inquiry in the President, and to that they received a response from her office this week saying that she was applying her mind to their motion in this regard, and that she would be considering it in terms of the Constitution and the parliamentary rules. But here's the DA's Chief Whip, Natasha Mazzoni, telling me what the DA is planning in terms of keeping up the pressure to get the President to respond.
What we've done is we have written to the Speaker of Parliament and asked for a very urgent ad hoc committee to be established to investigate this entire Phala Phala incident. We will continue to ask questions, we will continue to push for answers, but our main step now is the establishment of this emergency ad hoc committee.
Lindsay, are there any other avenues open to political parties besides the ones that they're already pursuing?
Well, outside of the parliamentary structures, no, Anli. They would really have to push to get the president to respond. We know Parliament is in recess for till the middle of August, so it's a really long time. They have now not succeeded in these written questions. They could still, though, pose questions for oral reply. You know that the president answers 6 set questions every term. He incidentally did not do so in this past term, and several opposition parties really upset that he hasn't done so, but his office has pledged that he will answer questions on 2 occasions in the next term of Parliament, which starts in mid-August. So that is one avenue they can pursue, other than keep trying to push the Speaker for Parliament to conduct its own inquiry, establish its own committee, and then this really comes back to that point, Annelie, that Parliament does not have a fixed committee that oversees and keeps a watch on the presidency. This is something opposition parties have been calling for years. It has now received some backup from the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, which in his report he has also recommended that Parliament would do well to establish such a committee so that it can keep a watch on the presidency. And so that is again another avenue, not specific to this matter, but just in general, that opposition parties can now continue to push for, that Parliament looks into establishing a permanent committee. So within the confines of Parliament, those are really the avenues they can pursue. But we know, for example, the DA has already taken this matter to law enforcement agencies beyond our borders in attempts to get to the bottom of what happened.
Excellent. Thanks so much for that update. That's ENCA's Lindsay Dentlinger.